Welcome to Better, the podcast about doing better, being better, and leaving the world a better place than we found it. Just vibing out to my theme music, because that's what I do now. What's up, everybody? Jay here from Better, the podcast about doing better, being better, and making the world a better place. I have a guest today who I've known for 16 years. That's right, 16 whole years. I've known her since she was 16, and she came to my underage parties that I threw. And I threw those for a while until it got really weird that I was standing on stage saying make some motherfucking noise to a bunch of 14 and 15-year-olds. That got strange for me. And actually we're going to do a reunion for that show, and I can finally say make some motherfucking noise and not get yelled at by their parents. So that'll be great, because everybody's, 16 years older, 32 roughly. So anyways, my guest, her name is Samantha Rex. Rex is not her full last name, which I learned while we were taping and had an error the first time. So now we're coming back around. It feels like the last 16 years of my life have been a lie, but that's okay. It's okay. She's known for lying anyways. Okay. Please introduce yourself.
Samantha Rexular, but we'll go with Rex.
So the reason I've had Samantha on the show, the reason why I have you on the show, is because this show has largely been so far about people talking about, like we had the coach on, he was talking about his fight with alcoholism, and it's over. His fight with his weight, pretty much over. Hal talked about certain things, and those struggles for the most part are over. Everybody's struggles have been over. Samantha's, your troubles are never going to be over, correct?
No.
And I thought that was interesting because you were diagnosed in 2014 with MS?
Was supposed to be, but I didn't know till 2016.
Okay, so you didn't know till 2000. We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
So, yeah. But technically you've had it since 2014.
Yes.
And you're going to have it forever.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know anything about MS. So we'll talk about that. But in this podcast, we're trying to talk to people about being better and doing better,
yes,
right? And overcoming odds, so that other people can see that
it can happen.
People do it every day, and that they can do it as well. So here's the thing, yes, right? So I met you when you didn't have MS, and I didn't know you had MS. I mean, I don't think you told everybody.
Well, I did
very quickly. Did you?
I did the MS walk when I found out, and I wanted to do better, and I raised a lot of money for it, and it was great.
Yeah. So that was 2016, did you
yes,
MS walk? Okay, so walk me through, just so everybody understands the not trauma, the dramatic circumstances of how this all came about.
In 2014, I woke up and I couldn't really see it in my right eye. So I went to a walk-in doctor. Walk-in doctor sent me to a neurologist. The neurologist sent me for an MRI. Both doctors got the results, but neither doctor called me to tell me the results, and that it's kind of something. And I was working at Cancer Care Breast Check at the time, so I knew what you do when you get the results like that. And they didn't tell me, and I didn't find out till 2016 when I went to an optometrist and so forth after that.
Okay, so they got the results that you had MS. Okay, so jumping back in, so they find out, they don't tell you, because why would they tell you? Not anything
not
important.
Not an incurable disease or anything.
Yeah, of course not. And then 2016 is when you find out, because your eyes are bugging you again, you go and then, clearly you have it because it says it right here.
Well, it's frustrating because
like?
the optometrist can't figure it out, sent me to an ophthalmologist, and he did a bunch of tests, but he's like, I can't say what this is. It could be MS, but I'll send you to a neuro-ophthalmologist. So 3 doctors later. And then I said, the neuro-ophthalmologist was like, why are you seeing all these doctors? And I was like, well, the last doctor said it could be MS. And he's like, looked at my medical records. He's like, you do. It says it here on the MRI that you did in 2014. And I'm like, well, nobody told me.
That's ridiculous. Okay. So 2014, you test. 2016, you find out. 2016, you do the walk. You raise a bunch of money, which is great. Now, what has it been like? So, because you haven't always been this able,
Yeah.
while having it, right? So,
Yeah.
like, what's been the journey from 2016 to now
till
with MS?
2019, I was fine. I was working, was able to drive everything. I was able to do stuff with my kids, go skating, everything. But in 2019, I got a little worse and I started a new medication called Ocrevus. And it kept my lesions and everything fine. I didn't get new lesions or they didn't get inflamed, but it caused bladder infections. I don't know if that's inappropriate for this,
No,
but it
it's
is
fine.
what it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then those infections cause MS symptoms to flare up drastically. So 2019, I stopped driving, I stopped working for 2 years. I love working.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's just hard to do anything with my children. They were young at that point.
Yeah.
So it was really, it's a little traumatizing, but just try to stay positive. Like, I have young children. I have to.
Yeah, that's fair. And then, so then you're on that
I
medication.
stopped
You went off
last
that
year and I
medication.
went back to my first medication where it's an auto injector and you give yourself an injection 3 times a week.
Okay.
I just stopped that one because I was being silly and not giving it to myself 3 times a week, and I went through 2 relapses.
Oh, why weren't you giving it to yourself?
Because they're needles and they hurt. Well, I do it. It just.
So now what do you do?
I learned, like, my arms hurt when I did it, when I first did it years ago.
I know people have diabetes, and that's what they do. They do it there.
Yeah.
Because what I remember about you growing up was being very hyper.
Yes.
Yeah, and like very active and very just like, well, you were Feel the Heat Girl of the Month once.
I was the
You don't-
first one.
Yeah, well, that's right. And you don't get that title by being, sitting in the background and
Oh,
doing
God,
nothing.
no.
Right? You dance your heart out all the time, right?
I like attention.
Yeah, no, you totally do. So was there a point where you were kind of like, I don't want to, I can't do this. Like, this is just, or were you just positive the whole way through? Like, how did you deal with the news
I
and then
think
the
it was
progression of the
positive
symptoms
the
and
whole
all
way
that?
through, and I know it sounds like ridiculous, but it's like I was dealt this hand for a reason because I'm strong and positive, and like I'm like I could show other people how to get through this. I know it sounds ridiculous when I say it, but I remember believing that. Well, I have my kids to like. I need to show them something bad happens to you. This is how you deal with it. You overcome it and try.
Okay, interesting. So I don't have kids. So I've talked ad nauseum on this podcast. I will not go into it all entirely. I've been majorly injured. I've had things happen to me.
Yeah.
My positivity I've had to pull from one, taking care of my mom, and
for sure.
two, just think,
Yeah.
fuck you. There's no way I'm giving up, kind of thing. There's no quit. I'm very convinced that if somebody tries to pull a plug on me at any point, I will come back in that moment and be like, "Don't you fucking do it!" Like I'm just
I could see that.
Yeah, I totally would do that. So, like, do you think you could have gotten through this as easily, or not as easily?
I still think I would have. It's just the type of person I am, but just they made it more reason to do better because I know it's a lifelong and declining disease. So
So it'll progressively get worse?
Yes.
And there's nothing they can do about that. Current technology, nothing they can do.
No, I just take medication to keep it at bay, I guess.
Like suppress it? Basically.
Yeah.
So, to ask a very uncomfortable question, do you know, have they given you a... You remember, did you ever meet Little D?
Yes, I was there.
Okay, so, that's right. Yeah. So Little D passed away and he was 32, I believe.
Young.
They told him he was going to pass away like early 20s. And so he lived every day like it was his last day, right?
He's happy.
Yeah. I mean, that guy made the most out of a bad situation for sure. Have they told you, or could you live like a super long life?
But I do think positivity and optimism is like key to any being sad, disease, anything, just being sad at all. When my first MS walk, you had team name, it was optimism is key because I believe you can be better if you just be happy. If you sit in depression, then you'll drown.
Okay. That's good.
I liked it. I do think I would have been okay, but not as thriving as I am.
Right. So do you think? So did they tell you? Did they say like probably 50s, 60s, 80s,
No, I
100s?
don't think they can ever say
They can't really
that.
figure that. Okay, so I'm not sure because they were able to. They thought they were able to tell how long D had. So, but you think you're strengthening it through positive? Yeah, because like your brain,
Yeah.
the connection of your brain to your body is
Mm.
very important.
Yes.
So they do say that the more positive you are, the longer a life you will probably have because stress is a killer.
I went through a pseudo relapse 2 weeks ago. Like I've gone through true relapses before because the inflation in the lesions or new lesions. But like I was in my friend's wedding. I was a maid of honor. I was stressing out if I did everything right, and then I had two big, like, I have kids, so that's stressful too. Like,
Yeah.
they just started going to school, so it's just a lot at once, and so I had a pseudo relapse. So like all my symptoms were worse. I have tremors, so that was a lot worse, and I have optic neuritis in my eyes, so my vision's kind of blurry. That was worse. My walking was worse. So I went to the hospital to figure it out. I didn't know it was a pseudo relapse, but I was in the hospital for 7 hours one day, but it was up to 4 in the morning. I'm like, okay, I gotta go home because my kids gotta go to school the next
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
So I went the next day, 11, and I was there till 7 at night. And then once the doctor told me what it was, the pseudo relapse, I left so much better just knowing that I can go home, relax, and I'll get better.
Right.
It was just knowing that it just totally took so much weight off my shoulders.
Yeah, I can imagine. So this chronic thing that you've got to live with now, the what's life like?
Difficult, especially since I can't drive. I use handy transit, and I had a hard time accepting that because I could drive before and
Yeah.
get around on my own. I have such a big support with both my whole family. I just don't love depending on everybody all the time,
Of course.
but I'm
Yeah.
so grateful.
Yeah.
But then I use handy transit to be able to, I go to the gym 3 times a week,
Oh,
and
you go to the okay, that's good.
yeah, well, it's like I need to get out of my apartment and
And keep your strength up. Yeah.
exercise, try to eat mostly healthy, but it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But try. And then I volunteer. I go when my nana was alive last year. I'd see her once a week and my grandma once a week. So see them, and that gave me so much positivity. I love being there for them.
Right.
Then my nana passed away last October.
Sorry to hear that.
And, thank you. And then I still go see my grandma. I started volunteering at her old folks home.
Okay.
I was gonna do because I need to volunteer somewhere. I need to do something with my life.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
I was gonna do the crisis line, but I started training for that and everything. But I'm very emotional and loving
You
person.
don't say.
But then I figured, like, as much as I want to help people, I can't call them back and see if they're okay. That would traumatize me a lot
Yeah.
more, and I need to be there for my kids. So I've been happy volunteering with the old folks at my grandma's, and they love me. Like,
Of course they do.
one lady wanted to come home with me. I'm like, she's like, oh, where do you live? I'm like, kind of, she's like, come with you. I'm like, I'm gonna go visit my grandma after this. Maybe next time.
Yeah, 15 minutes later, she completely forgot about
Exactly.
it. That's all good. Yeah, I have a family member who is in an old folks' home, the Tuxedo Village one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, they used. I'm
Talk, and then they'll forget it.
Yeah,
20
they
minutes
completely
later.
forget. We had a, half the time he forgets we were there last, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, okay, so your life is, you've found your new normal, basically. It's a
Yeah.
big expression everybody's been using since COVID, the new normal. But you found your new normal.
Yes.
I guess this is considered immunocompromised, obviously.
Yeah, it is,
So
yes.
you had to be very careful during.
When COVID first started, my dad lives in Grand Marais, like Grand Beach,
Mm.
and he was scared because I'm immunocompromised. He's like, I'm coming to get you. You're coming to stay with me for a while because it's safer out there, right?
Middle of nowhere, yeah.
So then he'd get groceries. He'd like sanitize them before he brought them in the house and everything.
No, that's good though, because like we didn't know.
Yeah,
Right? Nobody
I was
knew.
terrified, but you know.
What did you think of people that were like, "Fuck it, who cares?" With the immunocompromised people, because that was a big the big conversation was, you got to take care of yourself. You got to mask up and all that stuff, because seniors and the immunocompromised,
Yeah.
they're gonna have a harder time. We don't
Yeah.
want to kill them off.
Yeah.
Right? They don't feel like they deserve to die or anything, even though some people were like, nah, screw the old people. I'm like, wow, that's a crazy aggressive stance to take. Like, The problem with humans generally is that we don't understand anything until we go through it,
Happen.
until it happens, right? So obviously, the vast majority of people are not going to get MS,
No.
so they're not going to really understand that them not doing what they need to do is helping you. Did that like enrage you? The people that were like that, like, oh, screw them.
Myself, say like, you do you. You be an asshole. Fine.
Okay, so you were like, I don't care because I'm already taking care of
When
myself.
the kids started, like
Okay.
when they're still in school, I'd have the second pair of clothes. Like they go to school in a pair of clothes, and they'd come home. I want them to change
Right.
so that just in case.
Yeah, for sure. So you every day have to basically do better, be better, because you've got this thing that's
Like,
right, with you
like
every
to be
single day.
happy. My daughter's like, why do you gotta talk to everybody and smile? I'm like, why not?
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I just I don't have anything going on with my health. I'm probably the healthiest I've been in ever, maybe.
Good.
Yeah. But like, there are little things. So, for example, the trip that I went on,
Yeah.
right, went to San Francisco, and we got these bikes. Okay,
Yes.
so my girlfriend gets an electric bike. The only bike I could get was a 1-speed. So for 3 hours,
That sounds like fun.
I'm climbing hills on this bike. She's dying laughing at me because I thought I was gonna die. I thought for sure. I'm like, this is the worst experience ever. I can barely breathe now.
But you had to achieve your goal.
But yeah, I had to get. Well, finally, my goal was to get an electric bike, which I got 3 hours later. But so like, these are my problems, right?
Yeah.
And I even said we stopped for a second because then after I got the electric bike, I put the phone in the basket. The phone popped out, and a bus purposely drove over my phone and smashed my phone. So now I'm exhausted. My phone's broken. And I'm trying my best to stay positive in the face of these things because I didn't want to ruin the trip for my girlfriend.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
So like, I just sit there. I'm like, I need a couple minutes just to, breathe in and out. These are my problems.
Yeah.
So there's the thing I like about this is it's perspective, and I know people only really like for about half an hour after they watch or listen to this, they'll have perspective. Like they'll be so thankful they're not going through like a daily thing, right? But like, do little things still bug you?
Not a lot of things bug me. My children do. Just kidding, I love them. But like out in the world and everything, nothing really. But
Well,
when I'm crossing the street and someone drives in front of me, I'm like, do you not see me walking here? Like,
Well, you are really small.
but they
I'm kidding,
shut
I'm
up.
kidding, I'm kidding.
But
You are
like,
really small. For the record, you're 5'1", right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're tiny. So I can see how some people wouldn't see you.
That's because yeah.
Yeah, you got the cane.
Yeah. Well, that's the hard part too. I had to accepting that. I accepted that after I was at my kids' something at school, and it was outside. I need to go to the bathroom, but like I look like I'm drunk if I don't use the cane.
Oh,
And it
okay.
was like 10 in the morning at my kids' school. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a cane now because
Yeah.
I can be out.
Yes, everybody doesn't think you're drunk mom attending them at her school, at kids' school.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's probably a bad look. Yeah, I can see how that would be problematic.
Yes, my kids were so young at that point. Well, at any point, but I mean, like they're little, like grade 2 and 5 or something, and they're so little. Like
Yeah.
they look so bad.
Yeah, that's fair. Did you know everybody thought I was an alcoholic for the longest time? Remember how much pop I used to drink at the bars with those little pop?
Yes.
So everybody thought that I was drinking alcohol.
Oh yeah, you definitely drink a lot of.
I would drink a lot of pop. I don't drink any pop anymore. I was pretty addicted to Coca-Cola and Pepsi and all that. And so I found out because some people in the because they thought I was an alcoholic because they're like, you can drink so much and you seem fine
And you're fine.
and that's not okay, And I'm like, no, it's just pop.
It's
just.
well, even whenever we had been at the bar and obviously you'd always just get Pepsi or whatever. And,
Yeah.
like, why did you have a drink? And you're like, no.
No, never did. But I just thought it was funny that people thought I was this huge alcoholic for the longest time just because I would drink out of the short glasses.
So
Right?
you look like you were trying
Yeah, it looked like I was drinking like 15, 20 Ryan Cokes a night, right?
and short classes that we
Oh,
go.
the short glasses, because the big glasses were awkward, and I felt like a kid drinking out of them. Right? Like it just felt like the only thing really anybody drank out of the tall glasses was Caesars or margaritas, right?
Yeah.
No, not margaritas. Margaritas is served
I
out.
don't even know.
Do you drink still?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything you're limited from that you love?
I don't believe so.
No,
Like I
that's
do
good.
drink sometimes. Like I need to be careful. Like I need to who I'm with. I need a little help sometimes and
Yeah,
everything.
that's fair.
But I need a little help sometimes all the time. Like there was one time before I had my cane, me and my mom went to a social for a family member, and we was at a bar, and I walked up. I was gonna go buy my first drink, and I looked wobbly, and she's like, "Okay, well you're cut off after this one." I'm like, "This is my first one."
Yeah.
Like I have MS. I'm just wobbly.
But you gotta be a lightweight regardless, I'd imagine,
Yes.
because there's nothing to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 drinks in, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so life with MS is. It sounds like at the current time it's very manageable, aside from some persistent symptoms like the knee, the cane, and all that.
Yeah.
What's the plan when it's not?
Well, I do have my mom is very helpful and they're very close. So if I was doing really bad, I could stay there and they can help with the kids or the kids go to their dads if I need to just rest.
Right.
I went to the hospital for like 3 days at one point and the kids just stayed with my parents. I have a lot of support if I need to medication or this or that. I need
Right,
to
yeah.
rest. I have a lot of support with that, which is great. I couldn't imagine people who don't.
Yeah, it must be very hard for people that have MS to have no support system. And I think that what would you say to someone who has MS, does not have a support system? How do they get through it?
We have a young people living with MS group from the MS Society. So before COVID, we would get together 1 month and we'd have a learning meeting. And the second month we go bowling or we go for a picnic or something. And that was beautiful. And then we'd invite others. And then it was some people that they can talk to. If you need help, we'd help and everything. So I think that would be the best
So you build
thing.
like an MS community.
Yes.
That's probably very important, I would imagine. It's interesting because, the little things, because somebody that does that probably doesn't feel like they're doing much, right? But they're actually doing everything,
Yeah.
right? And I always find it interesting people that commit their whole life to something like building an MS community and making sure it all runs and everything. And like those types of people are, like we talk about good people and bad people a lot, right? Good versus evil. Those are genuinely good people,
Yes.
and when it comes to your kids,
Yes. 11 and 14.
11 and 14, so there's still a few years. One's 4 years away from adulthood. One's 7.
Stop. Don't say that.
Sorry. Do they understand mom's situation?
They do, and they're very helpful.
Yeah.
They used to, when I was first diagnosed and had my first medication, the auto injector and the medicine, I'd let them do the injection for me so they could be a part of it. And helps mom,
Right.
and then just help them explain stuff to them and everything, and they're okay. I think maybe I need to talk to them again because it has gotten worse since the beginning. So I think I do need to have a conversation with them. Like, I'm okay, but
Yeah, but it's gonna, because at some point it's gonna largely become their responsibility,
yeah,
right?
and like I don't know when. Nobody knows when. The doctors don't know when.
Yeah, that's gonna be frustrating.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do my best and take my medication now, and that's why I want to go to the gym and just somewhat. And then I went to, because I have tremors, right?
You
It got bad. I went to see my physiotherapist a month ago, and she's like, "Hey, put your arms above your head," and I really couldn't. And then she held my ribs, and then I could. She's like, I think I might be able to help you with your tremors. So then she gave me exercises because the muscles underneath my left shoulder are weak and underneath my ribs. So she gave me exercise to get that. So hopefully, like, obviously it's only been a month. I won't know yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm hoping for that because it's hard to make a sandwich or anything. I can't eat ribs because it get on my face.
Oh no. Well, everybody eats ribs. If you look, I'm in my professional opinion, as the rib eating champion of Salisbury House.
Yeah.
There is the only proper way to eat ribs is get it all over your face.
Oh, that's fair, but like I'm like very.
Yeah, that's.
But like
fair.
I'd want it here, and that's fine. But I mean, I don't know where it's gonna go.
Okay, that's fair. What I'm trying to figure out is how you stay so positive. What is the catalyst for your positivity? I know the kids are inspiration and everything, but
But
like,
it's not even just. Sorry.
how do you do it? Like, how do you mentally say, okay, this thing is hanging over my head? Like, I had a toxin in my stomach.
Yeah.
For a few months. Every night I had to go to the hospital. They had to give me morphine so that my muscles could relax because I'd be so clenched. I was in so much pain that I was holding on to the seats which were bolted to the floor in the emergency room. And I tore them right out. I'm not
Jay.
I'm not Batista, like I'm not this giant, guy. So I the fact that I was able to do that showed how much pain I was in because my adrenaline was kicking, right? So I did that for 3 months, and I was like, I was so tired.
Crazy.
I was so over it, and it was hard to stay positive. Like some days where I'd be like working and I'm in the middle of a major thing, and then it would hit, and I'd be down for 12 hours immediately. And I got I didn't get very negative, but it was testing my positivity for sure. So like, how do you do it, or is it just built into you as a human being, and you're just always like, how do you do it? I don't, because people get negative over every little thing.
They do.
You know.
They do.
So like, how do you do it? Like, what's the secret?
I was diagnosed with MS, though I just always wanted to help people. When I started going to the gym a couple years ago, I would get someone to take little videos, little short clips of like this day, couple of things, and then the next month different one because I wanted to show other people with MS like it's possible, and
Right.
like how I got a little bit better, but then I went through something and then I stopped for a bit, but I'm back at the gym, so I'm like I want to kind of try to do that now.
Right.
And then there's a shirt on Facebook that I saw one day. It's like if I can only help one person, everything, and like I posted that. I was like, that's all I ever want is help one person, but I just want to help so many, and I just want to stay positive. Like,
When you are down, what do you do to bring yourself up?
listen to music. That
Music?
always like
Interesting.
I
Hip-hop?
don't know. No country.
What has happened
Okay,
to
but
you?
my dad.
What has happened to you?
No, my dad sings country and plays guitar, and he's been doing that since me and my sisters were little. So that's my calm,
All
you
right,
know.
that's fair.
So yeah, like
I remember the one time we played country at Feel the Heat, and people booed it so hard. And they didn't realize what Finesse was doing. He was actually mixing a hip hop song into it.
she's just like, wait for it.
Yeah, just wait for the drop. And nobody was willing to wait. We're like, screw it. And brought next thing in.
Another thing about it, I'm really big on being grateful and silver linings and everything. Like, because I worked at Misericordia Health Center in a bunch of departments, but I worked there long enough that I put enough into CPP, so I get Blue Cross disability payments and CPP disability.
Nice.
So it's livable without.
Yeah, that's good.
I tried to go back to work, and
I saw that.
I was doing well in the department that I worked in before I left, but they put me in sleep disorder. So it's a new department, new computer program, everything. I'm like, you kind of just threw me under the bus.
Yeah. So you left.
Well, like
Yeah.
I tried,
Yeah.
and the occupational therapist came, and she was like, "Hey, this just isn't working for you." And like, it was hard to hear because that whole rehab team, like physiotherapist, occupational therapist, rehab specialist, like
Right.
that whole team and everybody was great, but it just didn't work out. And that was the worst week when I was told I can't go back to work, but came back and I'm like, okay, I'll volunteer or something, I'll be good. Like, just had to reroute my mind.
So the whole thing comes down to mindset with you.
100%.
See, a lot of people don't believe in that.
It's true.
Yeah, like a lot of people, when you talk to them about mindset, they're like, oh, that's hooey nonsense. It's like,
It's not.
and yeah, so you're living proof that they're wrong, that it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had moments where you couldn't get up, like
Oh,
like your negativity was
Like
up.
after that, when I was told 3 days, I was sitting in my bed eating cereal for 3 days. I didn't get the kids are with their dads, and I was just like, I'm just gonna sit here.
In Japan, they basically banned cereal now.
Really?
Yeah, especially Kellogg's,
Why?
because it's so full of
Sugar.
crap.
Everything but healthy.
It's literally nothing healthy in it. They love to be like, we have oats. Yeah, sure you do.
Here it's like Kellogg's are healthy.
Yeah, you have oats, but the oats are dipped in sugar, marinated in sugar, and they sit on the shelf with the sugar just fermenting or whatever the process is.
Whatever it may be.
If somebody is experiencing something chronic and they're negative and they can't figure out how to be positive, what do you think they should do to start feeling
Because
positive?
not everybody has like people behind them like I do, and they don't know where they should go for that stuff. But there's so much in Manitoba. There's like crisis line. There's other medical places, and
Right.
there's so many things, and just like, oh, just don't give up.
Okay. Is that what it's called? The MS Resistance, local groups. So there's lots of, so if you just type it in online,
Yes.
you can find the resources.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sounds like the other piece to the puzzle, at least to get people started, is
Yes.
to find a trigger for their positivity and their happiness. So yours is
Yes.
country music and your
Yes.
kids, right? So
Like
people,
everybody has a trigger for the happiness. You just gotta find it.
that is true. Yeah, that is true. So if you have, it's not even just MS, if you got something chronic and you're having a hard time getting through it, then you want to reach out to resources. It's okay to, I think a lot of people have a hard time reaching out to resources because then they feel dependent and they don't want to be a burden and all these, everybody comes up with all these crazy things in their head that they're like,
But it's
this is what I should do.
okay.
Yeah, that's it, right? It is okay. Would you be here as positive and able as you are now if you didn't have those resources?
Went and found resources, and everybody's been so positive and helpful. Everybody that you look for, they will be positive and helpful.
Okay.
There's no judgment.
Yeah, so that's, so if you're burdened by it, if you feel like you can't do it for whatever reason, right here, living proof, and then yeah, try to find those triggers. I wonder what my happy trigger would be outside of yeah, Smallville. Yeah, watching Smallville over and over and over again. No, I'm trying to think outside of relationships because that's
Okay.
an obvious one, right? Like obviously, I'm very happy with Shauna. You know, having my mom and my dad and everybody, and that's all. I'm trying to think of what my trigger, because honestly, my life has become a lot about my work. Well, it's always been.
I was gonna say, when wasn't it?
Yeah, when wasn't it, right? So I'm trying to figure outside of that. Podcasting makes me happy. Writing makes me happy. Although some things you probably couldn't write. Probably have to voice. Oh, that's a great thing about technology now, right? If you're a writer and you've got tremors or something, you
Yeah.
can just talk it through and it will pop out the script. That's cool. Yeah, I think those would be my triggers. I think that'd be how I'd just write.
Oh, one thing my occupational therapist, when I was doing my rehab to go back to work, she got me to write something down every day that made me happy. Like when I was at my old apartment, I loved that the birds came and sat on my balcony. It just made me happy. Just small little things. I love opening doors for people and like, hi, and then they smile at me. Those little triggers, like, just, I thought it was so beautiful. Like, just writing those one thing a
Yeah,
day.
that's cool.
And it helps so much. I go read it now. I'm like, oh, yeah.
It's like keeping a gratitude journal.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
Like, my silver lining, not being able to work, I was able to be there for my Nana. She had Alzheimer's and cancer, but she passed away, so I was there to be able to be with her.
That's
And
good.
my grandma, 94 now, so she's older, so I was able, so like, that was the silver lining. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was still working.
Okay, so you guys, you know what to do now. If you're sitting at home and you're like, God, you're in a negative funk, you got something going on that just is chronic or it just persists, now you know. Samantha Rex has solved your life. A little bit. Got you started on solving.
Hoping.
Hoping, yes. Would you be mad if people reached out to you?
No, not at all. I would love that. That's
So,
all I want is
how
to
would you do
help
that?
people. Well, at my Facebook, or I could.
It's Samantha Rex. It's not Samantha Rex.
No, Samantha Del Rose.
Samantha Del Rose. That's right.
Yeah.
Samantha Del Rose is her Facebook. So if you want to talk to Samantha, go ahead. And
I will totally
reach out.
find things for you.
There you go. See, she's living a life to serve others.
Yes.
Yes.
That
There you
make
go.
me so happy.
Okay, well, thank you for coming by. I know
Thank you
it's
for
a
having
hassle
me.
some days, but we got you here in Uber. Your driver told you his life story.
He did. He was very nice.
That's good.
He even walked me to the door and came and got me and everything.
Okay,
It was
well, I'll
very
have to
nice.
tip him then. So thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I hope that you guys got something out of it. I think you did. I did. So that's good. And you are still such a ray of sunshine. It's so awesome.
Thank you. I want to stay that way.
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty definitive that you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, guys, if you like this episode, we have plenty of other great episodes. Check them out. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all that fun stuff. We got tons more coming for you guys, including I'm trying very hard to work another angle for this show that I'm hoping will come up in future episodes. That'll be very exciting for everybody involved. So lots of good things on the horizon. Just always trying to make better. That's it. All right. Talk to you guys later. Welcome to Better, the podcast about doing better, being better, and leaving the world a better place than we found it.